All right. How you doing? How you doing? And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Petty, and I appreciate you stopping by today. And we can be real honest here. With a name like Petty, we could have done this video at any point. You know what I mean? We could have done it within the first couple of days of the community really just setting everything on fire. Like, Twitter and Reddit have been some mean places. But we sat on things. We wanted to wait, kind of see how the situation evolved, see, what a lot of the points were, see how much truth there was to a lot of the stuff going on, and kind of soak all that in, and then try to make the informed decision, not necessarily the emotional one, because there's been a little bit of My Hero drama, okay? So let's go ahead and get into everything and talk about some of the stuff, and I'll let you guys know where I personally stand on it and what I think. So the first thing that I want to talk about is this tweet right here before we go on to talk about everything else. So this is also one of the benefits of kind of waiting a minute, making sure that you're approaching the situation calm and collected, and letting everyone else be petty because you petty every day. But this is some pretty decent news. So let's take a look at what they're saying here. So we really appreciate you setting everything on fire over the last week. Some tuning changes that are coming next week. Also, thank you for our huge launch. Special gifts will arrive with our server update. So a couple of good things right off the bat. First things first, they're giving everybody free stuff. We all love free stuff. I'm here for it. Second thing is that this is a pretty quick reaction to a community that only really got vocal in the last week and a half, in terms of a lot of the things that you're seeing on Twitter or Reddit for it shifting into slightly aggressive memes. Once the meme culture is turned against you, you know that you have a real problem, mostly a marketing problem on your hands. But it's great to see them reacting in such a quick fashion. This is not something that they're doing, 6 weeks later on their next big update. But because we've seen companies go like, oh, no, we understand, guys. You're going to get more energy. You're going to be able to do more. We've seen what the actual increase is not anywhere near substantial enough to really make any of the changes that players were vocal about for the first point. So we'll have to, again, kind of wait to see how much stamina that they're going to be increasing things by, and the exact date for when this is actually coming. Oh, that would be some great information to have, make it much easier to have a well thought out opinion. And the next thing that they're increasing is hero coins from daily missions, and that's cool. That's nice. That's nice. The problem with that is that we still don't know what the actual numbers are, how many more hero coins we're going to be getting during the day. Is that going to be enough for free-to-play players not to feel literally like continents behind? So, as an opening message, we just wanted to touch on hey, we're already seeing some responses on some of the stuff we're going to talk about, so that's a good sign. But that comes with an asterisk, so we have to kind of wait and see how those changes actually play out. So we'll give them a little bit of time on that. But let's actually start taking a look at some of the stuff that people are most frustrated about and what a lot of this drama has all been around. We're going to have to try and quick fire through some of these rather complicated issues that some of them could get their own almost video length discussion to them as well. But in the interest of time and kind of catching everybody up, we're going to move through these a little quickly. So first things first is stamina is a huge issue for everybody. It runs out super fast. Essentially, after you get out of the early game stuff and get into mid game and progressing through, stamina starts to become a huge problem. And it's something that almost gets snuck into the mid game where at no point early game are you even thinking about having to manage your stamina, and then by the time that it's a real concern, like you dehydrated, you thirsty, you completely bone dry, 100% out, and it happens really, really fast. So hopefully with the developer stuff that we heard them mention earlier, we'll see if that has an impact on that. But that is probably the number one thing you will see people complaining about, outside of people really frustrated with microtransactions. But we'll get into that in a little bit. The other really big issue has been, for whatever reason, the publisher decided to put UK and the US on the same servers. So you never really know if you're using mobile data, like playing on your phone and everything, if you're going to be getting someone a state or two away or a sea away. And this is causing huge problems for a lot of mobile users, to where they're getting constant issues with versus and co-op modes. Now, people that are using emulators are having next to no issue at all. Like myself have noticed almost no issues with that whatsoever. So that was one of the things that I initially was like, I wonder what's happening there, because I don't see it. Yeah, it would be that. So if you're using mobile data, you're on your phone, and you get connected to someone that's on the UK side, or if you're on the UK side, you get connected to someone on the US side. It's happening really frequently because they were not broken up. It was just kind of set as global servers, and it's a little rough, bro. It's a little rough. So, and unfortunately, they're using the mobile MMO structure, which we'll touch on that more later if you didn't see our video where we kind of went deep on that one. There's no real way to change that now. So, like, you can't really go like, oh, okay, no, now we'll do, UK servers and US servers. It's too late for that. People's accounts won't be able to move over. It would be a really dicey thing for them to try and move all that stuff over. I do not know how much success, and if that would just be another great fire for them. But it's kind of one of those things where, like, the cat's out of the bag. Like, there is no going back from this point. So I'm interested to see what they can try and do to fix this. Like, this is kind of an issue where they have to do something on their back end and improve their own infrastructure in some way, so that this has an easier time. And with a, kind of intense fighting game where, like, them seconds matter, man, them hits you could be catching, those hits you could be throwing, that's very, very important. So it's not like they can try and let it, try to use less data so that there's less time between the interactions being sent. I'm sure they're needing all the data they have. So I'm kind of interested to see what they do to alleviate that, because there's not a lot of great solutions that I can see, honestly. So another thing that has kind of really come up closer in the last week or so is, since the All Might banner has been here, it's become pretty clear to the community that, much like Genshin Impact, free-to-play players have no realistic ability to even believe they're going to get these banner characters. I hate banner characters. I think it is one of the scummiest things that has been introduced to gachas in the last couple of years, and I honestly wish to God that everyone would rally against them in every game, to the point that the entire idea gets shut down. Because, I'm a Summoner's War vet. I played that game for a good number of years, son. And when you make a new character and you put them in the game, you put them in the pool, okay? They're in the hero pool. It's not, oh, they're only in their own special little thing, and then I don't know if we're adding them to the pool, and they're just, only available when the banner's there. That's trash. That's trashy trash. Those are the worst new characters in all of video game history. I don't care how bad the base game is. That is a trash business decision. That is really, really, really predatory. So just so you know my personal stance on that, and that we are just really anti-banner people in this house. If you make a character, you put it in the game. Anyways, Much like Genshin, players now know that they have to really, really save and really, really hold on to their hero coins to even have chances of getting these banner characters. And some of the banner characters could be pretty good. Having All Might would be pretty nice, but unfortunately I'm a pores, so it's just not gonna happen for your boy. And that's it. I don't like to see that. I didn't like seeing that in Genshin. I thought that is very, very poor design. Because even if you have banner characters, your banner should be accessible to free-to-play people that grind their ass off. And that's not even a realistic thing with the current state of the game. Now, maybe the daily increase of hero coins will also impact on this, like it might potentially impact the stamina drought issues. That's all possible. Or it could just be a drop in the bucket. We're gonna have to wait and see on that one. But that's... Oh, that actually sets up our next issue. So, one of the things that I will praise this game for all day is that there is a lot to do. There is a lot of things that you can do and a lot of ways to farm and build out your characters. Problem being that free-to-play people don't have anywhere near enough stamina without refreshing and using coins, which we just talked about they can't be touching unless they want new toys. That is a huge disappointment. I absolutely love that there are so many things to do in the game. Like, you go watch my first look video. We were amazed at all the stuff that you can do. Unfortunately, you can't actually do all of it in the day unless you're spending money. And yeah, people are allowed to be pissed about that. That's dumb. And another thing to kind of just stack on top of those other things is that for maxing characters and building them out fully, you essentially need 12 copies of them to finish the very last one. And yeah, compound that with the issues of free-to-play players having to farm in the first place, of them not even really being able to realistically get banner pulls, so people like All Might are next to impossible for them to ever be able to realistically max out. So again, this all kind of compounds into all of the other issues of free-to-play players, you know, not being able to farm as much, not being able to increase their power level as much because they're not farming as much. They can't really drop a whole lot on summons. So already you just have a lot of stuff kind of stacking on each other in terms of kind of problematic things that are going to spook and freak out new players. And then you have things like the card system, which with all the other issues with just hero summons and lack of coin pulls, when the hell are you supposed to get some hero cards too? Like, that's a lot. So all of these things, while they would be much smaller issues in their own, have a way of kind of compounding off of each other's, since they really do interact in a little bit of form of dominoes, and leads to a frustrating experience for newer players, for free-to-play players especially. I don't know how the whales feel. Y'all got to go find them and ask them, because I'm a poor person, so we don't do that here. Sorry. The other thing that we mentioned earlier, where there's essentially some elements of mobile MMO stuff that they also got brought into here. We actually did a whole nother video where we talked about, where we looked at like the fact that there's a million servers and how they kind of set that up, and they create a fake race with the whole BP system and everything like that. Another thing that we missed in our initial kind of evaluations of like, oh my god, they put a lot of the worst stuff from mobile MMOs in here. Is that they also brought in the monetize everything aspect of it, where even all of the events that you do, you can buy into those events for a little bit more and get a little bit more stuff out of them. In this game's defense, they do not go the full mobile MMO and have events that are only pay-to-win stuff only. Like, there, you can farm the events and, you know, get free-to-play rewards for them, so I mean, good job doing that and not going full mobile MMO and just having literal, like, oh, there's an event, which is you just spending money. That's not an event, that's a sale. So they at least didn't go that far into the dark side, but there is a lot of instances in this game where you can just put a little money in right here and get a little bit more out of that system. And for players that haven't played mobile MMOs, I can definitely understand seeing that and having a lot of concern. I'm not a fan of those systems either. Most of what I do with mobile MMOs is just be like, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad, that combat is dope. Why did you do the rest of this? Personally, I wish that this wasn't a thing, but it is common in the marketplace, and I can't say that I don't understand to anyone that is like, I can't even play something that is that OD with it. All of this together can and has given players that it's not only heavily pay to win, but that the game's even pay to play. And I can understand their frustration. And if we don't see any significant improvements from the game in terms of what free-to-play players are able to do, now they don't have to go in and remove all of these pay-to-win systems. No one can spend money on this game whatsoever. No, just make it more accessible and do more for the people grinding your game. Just do that part. Just do that part. Take care of your free-to-plays, and everything will be fine, boo. The community will give you all the time in the world to work on whatever stuff needs tweaking in the game if you keep your free-to-plays happy. And there's one more thing that we kind of just want to touch on. So another thing that was floating around Twitter and actually caused some fights between content creators, we ain't a drama channel, so we ain't gonna pull up a whole thing on that. We just like to talk a little smack about the games themselves. We leave people out of this. We got love for everybody. That all being said, is that there was heavy speculation going around that this was a cash grab game because it initially got banned in China. That sounds really, really bad, right? Sounds super, super bad. Here's the actual situation. So it wasn't this game specifically. It was all of My Hero Academia got banned in China for a bit. In February or April of 2020, last year, there was a character in the show or manga, I'm not 100% sure, that was going by a certain name and revealed their true name. And that true name happened to share the same name as a doctor that committed a lot of war crimes in World War II. A lot. Human experimentation, really, 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 really awful, horrible stuff. And yeah, that probably wasn't, that's kind of like naming your character Hitler. Kind of a bad move. Now, the writers said that they did not intentionally do this to draw any connections to this hit figure in history, and that it was unintentional and have since, changed the name of said character. But it was banned in China for a good while. I actually have hard information finding that it was unbanned. All the information online for it is just when it was banned. I'm fairly certain it's not banned anymore, but I couldn't tell you it's not. And what this actually meant for the game is there was a tumultuous period where they kind of had to sell to another developer so that the game could continue and be maintained. That is why there is actually only one character in the CN version of the game that is not in our version. There's not a slew of new characters coming anytime soon. There's one. One character. That's all they got right now. There actually no. I believe there is another character that was also in the game files but never implemented. We're gonna roughly call that the two characters. But the developers have since stated that they have started developing the game again, that it is now in new good hands, and we are going to be seeing more development on it. So it's something that is likely going to change, and with as big of a launch as they had, I think it's going to change sooner than later. I don't think that these guys had been sitting around resting on their laurels and hadn't worked on anything in this whole time period. Absolutely not. But there was that issue, again, almost a full year ago. For anyone that's starting to freak out right now, like it was a while ago, boo, it's okay. They've had a little bit of times since then. I couldn't give you exact dates on when the rights were moved to another company, so that a different developer and publisher would be able to work with it, because Chinese laws got a little real there for a little while when it got banned. While I can't give you an exact timeline, I have heard that the developers themselves are working on the game, so everything should be fine there. So the situation itself is just complicated. So I think that's why it's scaring a bunch of people, but I think it'll be okay, folks. I think it'll be all right. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong, and this has just been a cavalcade of like, oh god, now I got trust issues. Not what we want to do here. Wanted to more explain the situation, catch everybody up to speed that might be unaware, and then kind of give my 2 cents as we're going through it to give it a little bit of levity, maybe a little bit of perspective. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I really appreciate them faces. You're going to have to catch your boy on the next one, because we out of here. Deuces.